When you step into the path of spiritual awakening, when you begin to rise into higher consciousness and recognize yourself as one of the chosen ones who sees life more deeply than the surface distractions, something unexpected starts to happen. You notice that some people around you do not celebrate your growth, they do not support your clarity, and they do not encourage your transformation. Instead, they subtly, quietly, and almost invisibly begin to manipulate your emotions, feeding on your energy like it is their survival fuel. It feels strange because you wonder why people you know, people you thought were close, suddenly make you feel drained, confused, or even guilty for shining your light. This is the spiritual truth about mood manipulators. They do not want your happiness, they want your energy. And once you see through this hidden game, you will never fall into their trap again. Every chosen one experiences this moment of realization, where the mask slips, and you recognize that what you thought was support was actually control, that what you believed was love was actually a hunger for your attention, and what you trusted as care was actually a way to tether you to their emotional storms. The strange thing about mood manipulators is that they are often the loudest when your inner world is at peace. When you reach a higher state of consciousness, when your energy is calm and stable, when you are stepping into your power, that is when they suddenly feel the urge to shake you, provoke you, or pull you into their emotional chaos. They do this because your stability exposes their instability. Your peace reveals their inner storm. Your clarity makes their confusion harder to hide. And instead of working on themselves, instead of choosing growth and awakening, they choose to steal energy from those who already carry the light. This is why chosen ones are often targeted without even knowing it. It is not about what you said or what you did. It is about who you are becoming. Your energy, your spiritual awakening, your shift into higher awareness, all of that makes you a source of power for those who refuse to generate their own. Think about it. How many times have you walked into a room feeling good, feeling centered only to have someone make a sarcastic comment that throws you off? Or maybe you were celebrating a small victory in your life, and suddenly someone close to you found a way to downplay it, making you second-guess yourself. That is not random. It is intentional on an energetic level. Mood manipulators sense when your vibration is rising, and because they cannot rise with you, they pull you back down through confusion, guilt, or unnecessary conflict. They will twist your words. They will exaggerate small mistakes. They will act offended over things that never mattered before, all because they want to keep you hooked on their emotional roller coaster. And every time you react, every time you defend yourself, every time you explain your intentions to someone who already decided to misunderstand you, you are feeding them the energy they crave. This is why you feel exhausted after certain conversations. This is why you replay arguments in your head. This is why sometimes silence feels more healing than speaking, because manipulators are not searching for understanding, they are searching for control. The spiritual truth is this: energy is the real currency of life. Attention, focus, emotional investment, all of it fuels not just you but those around you. When you give your energy to a manipulator, you are handing them your power, and they know it. They may not use the language of energy, they may not even consciously admit what they are doing, but at a deeper level, they have learned that the fastest way to recharge themselves is by draining someone else. That is why they love drama. That is why they create unnecessary problems. That is why peace makes them uncomfortable. They cannot survive without an emotional storm, and so they use you as the lightning rod to keep the chaos alive. But once you awaken to this truth, you see that you have a choice. You do not have to react. You do not have to play the role they wrote for you. You do not have to hand over your energy like free currency in a world where energy is priceless. There is a moment in every chosen one's journey where silence becomes the weapon, where peace becomes the shield, and where detachment becomes the superpower. This is not about ignoring people out of arrogance or pride. It is about recognizing the hidden transaction of energy and choosing not to participate. You begin to notice that your peace is too expensive to sell for their chaos. You realize that your higher consciousness cannot afford to be lowered just to comfort someone who refuses to rise. You understand that your spiritual awakening is not just about meditation, affirmations, or self-reflection, but also about guarding your energy from those who thrive on manipulation. The transformation comes when you stop explaining yourself to people who twist your words, when you stop defending yourself to people who do not listen, and when you stop chasing approval from people who secretly envy your growth. That shift is the moment you reclaim your energy and step fully into your power. What makes mood manipulators dangerous is not that they yell or scream. Sometimes they never raise their voice at all. What makes them dangerous is that they know how to shift the atmosphere with subtle actions. A sigh, a look, a sudden change in tone, or a perfectly timed silence can make you question yourself, doubt your decisions, or even feel like you are the problem. They do this so you keep giving more energy, trying to fix what was never broken. But here is the truth. The moment you stop reacting, the moment you stop giving them what they crave, the game ends. They may try harder at first, pushing buttons more aggressively, but over time they realize that your higher consciousness cannot be manipulated anymore. Your spiritual awakening makes you untouchable, because when you understand the game, you stop playing. Chosen ones are often accused of being cold, distant, or detached when they stop feeding manipulators. But that detachment is not coldness, it is protection. It is the wisdom of higher consciousness that says, "My energy is sacred, and not everyone deserves access to it." You stop rushing to comfort those who create their own storms. You stop apologizing for being happy. You stop shrinking yourself so others can feel taller. And in doing so, you break the cycle of manipulation. Because mood manipulators only exist where people allow them to feed. Without your reaction, without your emotional fuel, they are left with themselves. And while that might make them uncomfortable, it frees you. It frees you to focus on your growth, your peace, and your transformation, without being tied down to someone else's emotional survival plan. The deeper spiritual truth is this: every time you protect your energy, you rise in consciousness. Every time you choose peace over chaos, you grow stronger. Every time you refuse to be manipulated, you become more aligned with your higher purpose. That is why chosen ones attract so much resistance, because your very existence threatens those who live on manipulation. You remind them of the work they have avoided. You show them the strength they could build but choose not to. And instead of joining you on the path of awakening, they try to drag you back into the cycle. But the more aware you become, the less power they have. They cannot control someone who knows their worth. They cannot drain someone who knows how to refill their own spirit. They cannot confuse someone who has learned to trust their intuition. You see, mood manipulators do not just feed on your reactions, they feed on your self-doubt. They want you questioning whether you are too sensitive, too selfish, too distant, too much or not enough. And the more you question yourself, the easier it is for them to control you. But here is the transformation. When you begin to trust your inner guidance, when you begin to stand firm in your decisions, when you begin to recognize that protecting your energy is not selfish but necessary, their entire strategy falls apart. Because you are no longer a participant in their silent war. You are no longer a supplier in their emotional economy. You become sovereign in your energy, and that sovereignty is the ultimate freedom. So if you have been feeling drained, if you have been feeling guilty for shining your light, if you have been shrinking yourself just to keep the peace with someone who thrives on chaos, know this: you are not crazy, you are not selfish, and you are not the problem. You are awakening to the truth of how energy works. You are recognizing that higher consciousness requires boundaries. You are stepping into the reality that being chosen means not everyone can come with you. Some people are only in your life to teach you how to say no, how to walk away, and how to protect your spirit. And once you learn that lesson, you rise into the next stage of your awakening with more clarity, more strength, and more freedom than ever before. And here is the final breakthrough. Mood manipulators only have power where you give them power. They cannot take what you do not hand over. They cannot drain what you refuse to share. They cannot trap a chosen one who has fully awakened to their strength. The moment you see the truth, the manipulation loses its magic. The moment you guard your energy, your spirit shines brighter. The moment you stop feeding the storm, the calm becomes permanent. And that is the gift of higher consciousness. You become untouchable, not because life stops testing you, but because you finally understand the tests are not worth your energy anymore. If this connected with you, thank you for watching until the end. Protect your peace, guard your energy, and never forget the power of your awakening. And if this message spoke to your journey, like this video and subscribe for more, because your energy is too valuable to waste, and your awakening has only just begun.